In Brazil, we have the word Mutirão. It means working together on a shared mission.
Somar pessoas para fazer a diferença na vida de quem mais precisa.
When it comes to climate change, we can accomplish so much more by working together. 10 years ago, local leaders from around the world gathered in Paris to tell heads of state, we're not waiting, we're making progress. So empower us to do more, and cities and regions will keep leading the way forward.
From Paris to Belém, local leaders have shown what action looks like.
We're far more nimble than national governments and parliaments. We're faster than prime ministers and presidents.
From Paris to Belém, we have transformed public transportation.
In California, we drive the clean car revolution. By accelerating the transition to zero-emission vehicles, we're cutting pollution in the communities that need it most.
In Curitiba, we are transitioning to zero carbon emissions on freight transport.
In Hong Kong, we are electrifying our road transport.
We have created more green space.
Trees on the Tree Town is our campaign to plant and grow 4 million trees.
In the city of encompasses, we're increasing trees and vegetation.
We have built greener infrastructure.
We have mainstreamed climate action in Bangalore, from renewable energy to urban forestry.
O governo de Pernambuco tem plano para garantir a neutralidade de carbono até o ano de 2050.
We have powered our cities with clean energy.
In Philadelphia, we've installed 130,000 LED streetlights.
Solarizing our markets, creating cool storage for our traders in Nairobi.
We've made the air cleaner.
La révolution du vélo s'est accomplie à Paris.
In Turin, we retrofit almost every school to reduce the carbon dioxide emissions.
From Paris to Belém, we have made our communities more resilient.
Regions and cities around the world are where climate change is felt the most.
We invested with partners in flood defenses.
Climate change is too big of a challenge for national governments to solve on their own. By working together, we can keep accelerating our progress.
Together.
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 Ensemble.
Juntos.
Cities,
states,
regions. Mutirão.
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 Mutirão. Mutirão.
Welcome, welcome. What an incredible crowd. I am Akshat Rathi, Senior Climate Reporter for Bloomberg News and your MC for the day. We're delighted to see so many of you here in Rio. I hope you've had a productive couple of days at the Local Leaders Forum, and welcome to also those of you who are watching on live stream. In the next 90 minutes, we have a collective set of amazing speakers who I hope will equip you with ideas, inspiration, and solutions to the challenges you face as you contend with climate change in your region. Many of you are local leaders, and we hope you feel energized to keep working on solving climate change and improving the lives of your communities. Let me start by introducing our host, Patty Harris. Patty is the CEO of Bloomberg Philanthropies, where she oversees the full breadth of the organization's effort to create better, longer lives for the greatest number of people. She also looks at the ambitious work that the organization does to protect the climate and to support communities around the world. Before leading Bloomberg Philanthropies, Patty worked at City Hall as Mayor Mike Bloomberg's first deputy mayor, the highest appointed position in the city government, and was the first woman to hold that position. So she knows firsthand what it's like to be in government and to make the tough decisions that you all face every day. She's a true champion of local leaders everywhere. Please welcome Patty Harris.
Thank you so much, Akshat, and bon dia. On behalf of Mike Bloomberg and the whole team at Bloomberg Philanthropies, I'm so glad to welcome you to the Local Climate Action Summit. Over the past 2 days here at COP30 Local Leaders Forum, we've had a series of events, each focused on mayors and governors. Today, we're bringing everyone together to find new ways to collaborate and share ideas. It's the culmination of all that has taken place here over the last 2 days, and another important step forward on a road that in many ways started right here in Rio. Back in 2012, when Mike Bloomberg was mayor of New York City, he joined Rio's mayor, Eduardo Paez, to lead a delegation of mayors to the Rio Earth Summit. And let me give a big thanks to Mayor Paez for his amazing leadership. It's so great to be here 13 years later to see the results in person. As Mike has explained, back in 2012, climate change was mostly thought of as a challenge for national governments to tackle from the top down. But mayors and local leaders looked at the problem the other way, from the bottom up. And what they saw was opportunity, because the same steps to cut emissions also make our communities better, healthier places to live. We saw those benefits in New York City. Under Mike's leadership, we were able to cut emissions by 13% while also expanding life expectancy 3 years. And we didn't do it alone. We drew so much inspiration from local leaders all around the world who were pioneering bold ways to tackle the climate change, like everyone here is doing. Since then, our team at Bloomberg Philanthropies has never stopped looking for ways to elevate solutions and help them spread. We've supported networks like C40, Under 2, and the Global Covenant of Mayors. We've launched global competitions to find and support great ideas being pioneered at the local level. We've worked with regions replacing coal with clean energy and helping people find new jobs in growing industries. And through the America is All In coalition, we've worked with mayors, governors, businesses, and other local leaders to keep the U.S. moving forward. Throughout it all, and led by Mike in his role as UN Special Envoy, we've looked for ways to make sure that the voices of local leaders are heard at COP. As we saw in the video, 10 years ago in Paris, Mike joined the city's incredible mayor, our friend Anne Hidalgo, to bring together mayors on the sideline of the conference. That gathering marked the turning point because it was the moment local leaders truly stepped up into the global climate spotlight. Then at COP28 in Dubai, we held the first ever Local Climate Action Summit. There, local leaders launched the Coalition for High Ambition Multilateral Partnership, or CHAMP, as we love to call it. Since we launched CHAMP, more than 75 countries have committed to working hand in hand with cities and regions to meet their national climate targets. It's an idea that leadership at the UN has always advocated for, and that Brazil has fully embraced as the host of COP30. And a lot of credit goes to our next two speakers, the Executive Secretary of UN Climate Change, Simon Steele, and Brazil's Minister of Cities, Minister Filho. After today, the journey that started in Rio and picked up speed in Paris now continues on to Belém. And wherever the road goes from there, I can promise you that our whole team at Bloomberg Philanthropies will do everything we can to raise the bar. That includes bringing people together, like today in Rio, because we're big believers in the power of convening to inspire people and, of course, spread good ideas. So thank you all so much for what you're doing. For a brighter future, here's to a productive summit. Now, please join me in welcoming someone who is helping to set the stage for success at COP30, I want to thank him for all his wonderful leadership. Simon Steele.
I feel like I should do a little dance to that intro. So is it morning? Yes, it's still morning. Good morning, all. So excellencies, mayors, governors, leaders, it is a privilege to be here. We may be 1,500 miles from COP30 in Belém, but the road to success runs through Rio. Because cities, states, and regions are where the climate fight can be won or lost. Our new NDC synthesis report last week shows humanity is making progress through climate cooperation. It also shows subnational actors playing an increasing role in delivering that progress. More broadly, for the first time, we can see emissions are clearly coming down by 10% by 2035, although clearly that's not nearly enough. Our adaptation report shows progress building resilience, but again, much more is needed to unleash its full transformative potential. Our transparency report shows parties starting to implement Paris, but a major acceleration is still needed. Meanwhile, climate disasters are sending a wrecking ball through communities and through economies, as we have just seen brutally with Hurricane Melissa. And I know each of you will have your own experiences of climate impacts. We need to pick up pace. To do so, we need to bring our COP process closer to the real economy and closer to real people and communities. A crucial part of doing this is accelerating actions at the local and regional level to spread more of the vast benefits of climate action to billions more people. So this Local Leaders Forum and events like it are absolutely essential. I commend Mike Bloomberg and Bloomberg Philanthropies, along with the COP30 presidencies, for bringing us here today. It's vital because cities, states, and regions are where global climate action meets daily life, where inspiration can be found on every corner, and where the great ideas and the big answers take shape. Local climate leadership is central to delivering healthier, wealthier, and safer communities and stronger economies. Together, cities and regions drive nearly half of global GDP and represent billions of people. Through regional and city networks, you're showing that climate cooperation delivers tangible benefits: cleaner air, safer streets, more resilient communities, and new jobs in industries of the future. You're the first responders to storms, floods, heat waves, and wildfires. And your experience is shaping more resilient, more inclusive national policies and plans. National goals rely on local delivery. That is why cooperation between every level of government is mission critical. The Coalition for High Ambition Multi-Level Partnerships Framework, launched at COP28, must now become part of how every country prepares and implements its climate plans, aligning national vision with local execution. When local and national leaders move together, we move faster. But there's a problem you know all too well. National governments commit to big infrastructure projects, and as a local leader, what you want to see is shovel in the ground. But too often it takes too long. Investment doesn't flow. Commitment wanes. And in the end, plans are not delivered on time, on budget, if at all. In the fight against climate change, it's time for shovels in the ground, to move from pledges to projects. Pledges inspire hope, but projects deliver results. The Global Covenant of Mayors Cities alone could cut 4 gigatons of carbon dioxide annually by 2050 if current plans are financed and implemented. That's the difference between words and action. Governments are submitting their national climate plans, their NDCs, now. I urge you to get involved sooner rather than later. Let's work together across government layers and borders to unlock the capital needed for clean power, resilient infrastructure, and green transport. Data and transparency will help us. The contribution your cities make must be visible so we can share success, aggregate progress, and learn from each other. To every one of you, I say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for your action. But I also ask you to dig even deeper, because we are at a decisive moment. Cities, states, and regions are part of the foundation on which the Paris Agreement stands, and the bridge between ambition and real-world results, which improves people's lives. The world is watching. From the street corners to the State House, from the alleyway to the summit, let's show that we are stepping up, faster, fairer, and together. I thank you. So I would now like to hand the floor to Minister Filho, the Minister for Cities of Brazil.
Bom dia. Good morning. I ask you apologize, but I will speak in Portuguese. So put your... Thank you. Queria primeiro começar saudando
First of all, I'd like
a CEO da Bloomberg Philanthropies,
Bloomberg Philanthropies,
saudar ao nosso secretário da UNFCCC, Simon Seal, parabenizando pela excelente fala que ele fez há pouco, saudar aqui os governadores, governadoras, saudar os prefeitos, as prefeitas, as senhoras e os senhores. Que eu queria, a mensagem que eu gostaria de trazer em nome do governo brasileiro, nas vésperas de iniciarmos a COP30, essa COP que será, sem dúvida nenhuma, um dos passos mais importantes que todos nós temos para o futuro do nosso planeta, é oportunidade. Em Belém, nós vamos ter a grande oportunidade de conseguirmos colocar as ideias do futuro do nosso planeta. Nós vamos poder colocar em prática ações que vão fazer com que as nossas cidades possam ser cidades mais resilientes, cidades mais sustentáveis. E olha que coincidência boa. A reunião ministerial sobre urbanização vai acontecer no dia 11/11, e o ODS de cidades sustentáveis é exatamente o ODS 11. Então, quando eu falo de oportunidade, é que nós, todos nós, não podemos perder essa oportunidade de falar lá e de sair de lá com metas de todos nós. E aqui tem representantes de todos os continentes do nosso planeta. Mas que a gente consiga sair de lá e todos nós comprometidos a que essas metas que forem discutidas, que todos os passos que forem decididos, de fato, nós iniciemos o processo de implementação. Senhoras e senhores, nós não temos mais tempo. E se fizermos uma avaliação clara, lembrem-se, senhoras e senhores, isso tudo inicia desde lá, aqui no Rio de Janeiro, em 1992, com a Rio 92. E precisamos refletir o que nós alcançamos, o que de fato aconteceu, qual foi o cuidado que os nossos países, as nossas cidades, os nossos estados alcançaram, para que a gente possa dizer que estamos no caminho certo para um futuro do nosso planeta, um futuro mais sustentável, um futuro que o planeta de fato possa se encaminhar um futuro melhor. Passamos por Paris e muitas promessas foram realizadas. A gente precisa parar de fazer promessa. A gente precisa passar a implementação. O planeta nos chama. O mundo nos chama. As próximas gerações dependem de nós. Nós não podemos ficar admitindo e aceitando que o planeta continue aquecendo na velocidade que ele está aquecendo sem as nossas ações. E aí, chamo os senhores. Nós precisamos tratar do meio ambiente, mas nós precisamos tratar também das cidades, do tema urbano. A maioria do povo já vive nas cidades. 70% da população em 2050 estará nas cidades. 80% das emissões partem das cidades. Então, as cidades precisam estar tanto na busca pelas soluções, porque se nós não tratarmos de tudo aquilo que as cidades emitem, nós vamos continuar perdendo essa guerra. Por outro lado, nós precisamos deixar as nossas cidades adaptadas, porque a ciência aponta novos eventos climáticos irão acontecer. E se elas não estiverem preparadas, nós vamos ver cenas como nós vimos e o mundo viu. E aí, me permitam falar da experiência brasileira, do que nós vimos no Rio Grande do Sul no ano passado, onde muita gente morreu, onde infraestruturas foram absolutamente devastadas, destruídas. Ou podemos falar do próprio Rio de Janeiro, que em Petrópolis, alguns anos antes, aconteceu a mesma coisa. Então lá, nós precisamos tratar, e nós vamos tratar na reunião ministerial sobre ciência, nós vamos falar sobre resiliência, nós vamos falar sobre financiamento. Mas é fundamental. E olhe que iniciativa, por isso aqui faço a saudação a todos que fizeram a organização deste evento. Como não tratar dos temas que vamos discutir na COP sem ouvir os prefeitos, sem ouvir os governadores, sem ouvir os líderes locais? São eles, pessoal, que sabem quais são os verdadeiros caminhos para que nós possamos alcançar as verdadeiras metas de solução para o nosso planeta. Então é fundamental que essas ideias daqui cheguem aos líderes globais, seja do setor público, seja do setor privado, para que a gente de fato encontre um caminho, uma solução para o nosso planeta. Da nossa parte, do governo brasileiro, fala aqui em nome do presidente Lula. Contem com o Brasil. Contem com o Brasil para encontrar as soluções ambientais. Contem com o Brasil para encontrar soluções sobre o aspecto de financiamento e também para que a gente transforme a nossa cidade em mais resilientes e mais sustentáveis. E contem com o Brasil para que a gente esteja cada vez mais próximo dos líderes locais, porque eu tenho certeza que de lá que sai a esperança, de lá que sairá as grandes soluções para o futuro do nosso planeta. Muito obrigado pela presença de todos vocês no nosso país. Continuem contando com o Brasil nessa meta. Muito obrigado a todos. Parabéns pelo nosso evento.
Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Simon. and thank you, Minister Philo. From all three of them, we heard one common theme, which is the critical need for collaboration, something that this forum enables, and something that our next speaker also enables. I want to turn to the co-chair of the Covenant of Mayors and Executive Vice President of the European Commission, Teresa Ribera, to introduce our first panel that will dive into looking at what can be achieved with subnational engagement on the global stage. Please join me in welcoming Executive Vice President.
Good morning, Rio. Good morning, local leaders on climate action. It's such a big pleasure to be here with you today. A room full of people willing to win the streets. A room full of people willing to deploy committed and fair climate action everywhere. It's been fantastic to witness in these 3 last days how this forum has been filled with energy, commitment, and purpose. That means hope. Hope in a world where we witness irrational moments of backlash, irrational moments of fear. So it's so good to count on you, 10 years after the Paris Agreement. Such a positive mood that allows us to do a lot. But even if we have done a lot, we see that the frequency and severity of climate-related disasters have increased. Even if we have managed to lower the trend of increased emissions, we have not yet go below what we needed to achieve in order to get within the 1.5 degrees target. I believe the Paris Agreement was a great move, an important landmark, and we still need to fulfill the promises we made. This is one of our major allies behind the very origin of the United Nations 80 years ago. It speaks bluntly against multilateralism, climate action, women's rights, and creates some nervousness all over the world. But there are many more people committed to do much more. We in the European Union will continue to work relentlessly in support of multilateralism, cooperative solutions, and collective action for our global public goods. This very same morning, back in Brussels, the ministers of environment reached a very important deal, committing to reduce 90% our emissions by 2040, introducing credits coming from the international market in case they are needed. I think that this is very important. It gives a sense of commitment, a sense of direction, because we want to fight against suffering, against tragedies, like those in Jamaica and in other parts of the Caribbean in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa last week. It may become increasingly common, increasingly frequent, and we need to avoid that. Cities, regions, and states are acting. You are acting. If we fail to act together, if we fail to act fast, we all stand to lose. You have shown that the green transition is happening locally in your cities and regions where it makes most for people. The mobilization for decarbonization, for resilience, for people, sends a powerful signal to the world. Local action works, and it works fast. And your voice has grown internationally. And it is very important that it is heard all over the world. Your word, your action matters more than ever. Your efforts are needed as our multilateral institutions may face difficulties, but in fact, because their reality means involving local players. You are a very important part of the day-to-day life of any citizen all over the world. The good news from these 3 days in Rio is that the green transition is moving forward on the ground where it matters most for the people. We will not win the fight against climate change, nor keep it under control if we do not achieve results locally in our cities and regions, both building resilience and reducing emissions, providing services, ensuring high quality of life for anyone in any part of the world, while at the same time, we remain within the limits of our planet and climate security. This is why local leadership is indispensable to this transition. Local action changes daily lives. It is tangible, it is visible, it builds trust. It empowers us to do more. These local benefits deserve to be highlighted, as I said, and climate action may help to improve so many relevant needs for any citizen: health, transportation, dignity in housing, facilities to cope with extreme weather events. It builds resilience, prepare communities for climate impacts, and reduce the cost of inaction. How to make climate resilience and adaptation a distinct policy priority with a clear set of measures and responsibilities will be critical for any of us. We must amplify the voice of local leaders. You are the doers. It resonates louder than those who try to slow down or even derail the transition. Let's make our voice being heard all over the world. None of this can succeed in isolation. This is why this gathering matters, because we want to join efforts. We want to join forces. The European Union has also officially endorsed the Coalition for High Ambition Multi-Level Partnerships, because we know that this is the way we need to proceed. It's a timely framework to strengthen cooperation across all levels of governance, because ambitious climate action requires all hands on deck, from local to global. In the very same spirit, I'm pleased to confirm that we will continue to fund the Global Covenant of Mayors, our flagship partnership with local and regional leaders around the world. It shows that local innovation can drive global transformation. It shows that partnerships, friendships are much more positive and deploy much more outcomes than working in isolation. We do this because we know that you local leaders and your action matters, and it matters greatly in these difficult times. We know that there is no time to lose. We know that the Brazilian COP presidency is fully supportive of this agenda. We know that in Belém we have an unprecedented opportunity to respond credibly, to strengthen the pivotal role of science and to encourage those engaged in the battle against climate disinformation. We have an unprecedented opportunity to anchor local and regional leadership at the core of the new implementation agenda, because the emphasis on accelerating action and inclusiveness will make the difference. We have an unprecedented chance to recover the trust among us, to progress for the first time in finance commitments, advancing in the transition in a way of fossil fuels and facilitating the adaptation agenda. We must explore positive avenues and pursue ways to protect the most vulnerable communities, enhance adaptation finance, and support nature-based solutions through innovative sources. Let us seize the momentum. Let us act together. Let us make our voice clear and loud, stating our commitment, our engagement towards a brighter future. Thanks a lot.
Thanks to all of you. Thank you as well. And it struck me listening to Patty and to Simon, the other speakers over the course of the last few days, this is a real moment to note and celebrate progress since Paris and to perhaps draw a contrast to what we saw at events like this before, Copenhagen and in others. So I wanted to start with a question that might go to each of you and merit a quick answer, and that is, how much progress have you seen during your tenures when it comes to the level of participation, the quality of participation you've been able to have as a local leader in these international gatherings? I'll start with you.
Wonderful. As one of the leaders of the United States delegations, I have felt that subnational cities and states have become increasingly important. It's a real point of pride for us that the United States has such a large presence. We have the second largest delegation, I believe, after our host country. Because local leaders matter and we're delivering results, we're so grateful to Bloomberg Philanthropies for making that possible. And we hope we're sending a message to the world of the fact that 2/3 of the American population and 3/4 of our GDP is still working aggressively on climate action. We appreciate the greater support for local leaders and the fact that we have partnerships all across the world. Also, on behalf of the United States, we had a very significant election day yesterday, and across our country,
And you told me backstage it was a good election for climate.
it was a very good election from climate. Our climate, I have the pleasure of representing over about 350 US mayors, and our climate mayors did very well on the ballot. The US voters care about things like energy affordability and access to clean, affordable water, and when climate has been on the ballot by itself has done extremely well. So we do want to send that message from the United States, and that we appreciate European Union working directly with local leaders. Brazil has embraced us so much. I come from an aerospace city, so the success of Embraer is very important to jobs in my community, and we've really felt that local leaders are the ones getting it done, whether it be climate action or economic diplomacy. There is more opportunity for us. So many of us are head of our national governments. If we are going to achieve the ambitions of Paris, local leaders will need to deliver it.
Raquel Lira, you're a governor now. You were a mayor before that. Feel free to speak in Portuguese. I'm curious of the progress that you've seen in those two jobs.
Vou aqui falar na nossa língua materna. Quero agradecer muito a oportunidade de mais uma vez estar presente aqui na COP. Eu tive em 2028 como prefeita, aliás, já como governadora, mas antes de ser governadora, de estar como governadora, o cargo que exerço desde janeiro de 2023, eu tive a oportunidade por 2 vezes de ser prefeita da minha cidade de Caruaru. Pernambuco é um estado com 9,5 milhões de habitantes, que tem 184 municípios. A minha cidade representa uma cidade de 400 mil habitantes, onde a gente convive com eventos extremos, desde secas absolutas até chuvas torrenciais. E meu estado é assim também. Mais de 145 municípios pernambucanos estão no semiárido nordestino. É um lugar onde tem muita gente e muito pouca água. Tem cidades em Pernambuco que passaram 3 anos sem acesso à água de forma nenhuma nas torneiras. Quando a gente fala nesses fóruns que em janeiro de 2023, 2 milhões de pessoas não tinham acesso à água em Pernambuco, parece algo estarrecedor, mas são pessoas que nunca tiveram direito à água tratada na torneira. A gente convive com realidades muito distintas no mundo inteiro e no Brasil também. E quando a gente compara as cidades do Nordeste com o Sudeste, quando a gente olha para nós mesmos, vem o desafio que temos, mas eu não tenho dúvida nenhuma de que parte do empoderamento do poder local, a capacidade de transformação dos nossos territórios. E acreditando nisso, hoje sou uma prefeita governadora. Mas a gente, no Nordeste brasileiro,
in the Brazilian Northeast area, from 2023, 50% of my population is in poverty, and 20% in extreme poverty. Climate change affects these people, and we are speaking about these people. They have faces, we have women, and they live in the rural areas, they don't have houses, they have to change houses, they don't have money to pay the rent, and they have to change their children from school to school. This is a social and climate injustice. We have to face an extreme challenge, and we have to overcome it. I'm going to speak about an inhabitant from nearby Recife. When I was still a candidate of mayor, she didn't have water for 10 years. In one point, she had water, and once her source of water was closed, and she didn't have water. And it cost 700,000 reais to put water inside her house. So to work and to face social injustice and climate injustice, we have here Kate, Catherine, David, and women. We have to deal with this, and we deal with this, and we have our world vision, a feminine vision, and these women have problems. We have to have a very responsible policies, and then we have to deal with this. We have a real estate policy, and we have more than 16,000 houses. We are invested in the mountains. We are mapping risk areas because the municipalities, they don't have the condition. I was a mayor, and I didn't have support of this. The role of the state is to really, we have
investimentos e capacidade de
planejar, de desenvolver
para que municípios no seu território possam fazer a diferença. E quando a gente tem aqui uma grande audiência, nós estamos aqui juntos para discutir qual o papel dos governos locais. A gente ainda está tratando de temas do século retrasado, de acesso à água, de acesso à habitação. Mas nós estamos tratando de temas do futuro. O Nordeste é a bola da vez na geração de energia. Todo mundo olha para o Brasil para a geração de energia renovável. Mas o que é que nós estamos conseguindo ter, olhando para a nova economia, agregar valor, se a gente não aproveitar essa janela de oportunidade para poder avançar no crescimento econômico, no desenvolvimento social, seremos ainda meros exportadores de commodities, tratando de energia assim. Então, o Brasil, aqui olhando para um país que recebe a COP, tem uma oportunidade de se colocar no mundo como parte das soluções para a transição energética, para a nova economia, mas a gente não pode permitir que o nosso povo fique para trás.
But our people cannot be behind. We have to fight against inequalities. We have to change our economy, and we have to advance as a society. Thank you.
As we move from Pernambuco to Malmo, I wonder how you would chart the progress that we've seen thus far, and you're the head of an organization of cities.
Sorry, can you help me again? Or
just talk to Kate? Yeah,
sorry,
I'm curious sort of what you as mayor see as the progress made and sort of what you're looking forward to here as we move ahead to Belém.
Well, first of all, I'm the mayor of Malmö, but I'm also ICLEI president, ICLEI Local Government for Sustainability, and we connect more than 2,500 cities globally, all eager to do our work. And in my hometown, we have been a front runner from very early on, and we realized early on that we have to really work hard together with the citizens, the business sector, but also our national governments, and we're trying to do our best to collaborate, but also within the European Union. And ICLEI, as an organization, has served as the focal point of the LGMA under the UNFCCC since the very beginning and of the Global Climate Conference in 1995. And it's actually very nice to be back here in Rio, where it all started in 1992. And now, 33 years later, we can see that very much has happened. And we do look forward to write the next chapter in Belém and beyond Belém. But just to revisit some milestones that has been very, very important for, I guess, all of us. The COP in Montreal, more than 1,000 cities, 2005, committed to implement the Kyoto Protocol, and that was an important milestone. And in 2007 in Bali, while the European Covenant of Mayors was created, ICLEI, C40, UCLG launched the first global campaign to recognize and empower local and subnational governments in the UNFCCC. And if we go back to Paris in 2015, cities and sub-national government received full recognition in the Paris Agreement. So lots of things have happened. And since then, the European Covenant merged with the Compact of Mayors and the European Commission. The Marrakesh Partnership connected us to the UNFCCC Climate Action Agenda. The race to net zero and resilient kicked off in Glasgow. And the first urban and climate ministerial started in Sharm el-Sheikh. And the CHAMP was improved in Dubai. And the COP in Baku helped us to bridge mitigation, adaptation, and finance. And now we're here. And I'm really, really looking forward for the next chapter in our shared book. And I really hope that the LGMA I really hope that we will have a permanent part of the process in Belém and after, and that's a really, really important message. And I think it's also an important part for all local leaders to have the support to be able to deliver what we all need to has to be delivered. And I think it's important that all local leaders everywhere globally keeps on supporting each other. And as president of ICLEI and as mayor of Malmö, I would like to reach out to all fellow mayors to really show support and solidarity with the LGMA constituency so that we can make this progress even further. It's a challenging time, but I know that we together are able to deliver, and I'm so looking forward to further collaboration.
Thank you. In the short time we have left, Kate and Raquel, let me ask you each to respond to, picking up on what you just said, sort of what you're looking forward to in Belém and sort of what subnational institutions, leaders should be pushing for at those talks and beyond. I'll start with you.
So this year has been an incredibly important year in world energy history. This is the year where we have seen artificial intelligence and its energy demand grow exponentially. AI is becoming more common in local government operations, in finance, in world computing, but it is demanding a huge amount of the world's energy. One of the things that I think will come out of the Local Leaders Forum that will be most important is a strong statement that as artificial intelligence grows, it must be powered sustainably. It must use clean energy. I've been pleased to work with Lord Mayor Rees of Melbourne and with support of our C40 chairs, Mayor Khan and Mayor Aki Sawyer, to develop a strong initiative and statement coming out of this convening that we will ask the world's leaders to put sustainable artificial intelligence that benefits local communities at the forefront. This is good news for Brazil, where there is a strong supply of clean, renewable energy and could put Brazil at the forefront of this amazing technology transition. But for too many communities, we are seeing natural gas and coal as primary fuels. If this Local Leaders Forum can send a strong statement and give the momentum to the COP presidency to deliver an ambitious agenda on artificial intelligence, we all will have made a very important contribution to the energy history of our planet.
And Governor, I'll give you the last word. Sort of what are the goals that subnational leaders should be pushing for here as we look to these next few days?
A COP já começou, semana que vem.
COP will start next week.
Discutindo sobre mudança
Many
climática,
of us
transição
will
energética, nova
be
economia.
there discussing energy transition and looking at a country like ours,
A gente não pode mais esperar ser a bola da vez, a gente precisa fazer gol.
We
fazer gol
have
no Brasil
to
significa a gente
not
poder aproveitar esse momento
only
que o mundo
play
olha para
football,
nós como parte da
but
solução de
make
seus
goals.
desafios.
And we have part of our challenge in climate change. We have to advance as a nation. We have to work with social justice, and the investments that come to Brazil have to transform the quality of life of our population with more education, more job opportunities, and
não abastecer
not
apenas de
only
energia ou de alimentos,
give
mas a
energy
gente
or
consiga
food
fazer o nosso povo
to the population, but
falo
give
Brasil,
them
falo
progress.
Pernambuco,
I'm
mas por
speaking
tantas outras
on
nações
behalf of
que
Pernambuco, on
almejam
behalf of
oportunidades como
Brazil,
essas que nós
and
temos agora,
communities
e nada
that
melhor do
they
que uma COP
want
acontecendo
to
dentro da
have a
floresta
COP,
amazônica,
and we have a COP
construída por
in
nós,
the Amazon
não falando
region.
de longe sobre isso,
We are
mas
not
podendo
speaking
construir por
from
dentro
far away,
quais são os
but we
movimentos
will
de
be
desenvolvimento
there.
econômico
We have to
sustentável
have a
que combata a
sustainable
injustiça
economical
social, que
development
permita a gente poder
against
ter
social
parâmetros muito claros nos próximos
injustice.
anos
And we
de
have to have
evolução
clear
como humanidade.
parameters for the next
Esse é o meu
few
sonho.
years. We have to advance as human beings.
Thank you all very much. Thanks to you. Can't just play football, have to make goals. I will take that away from
That's
this
well
as well.
said.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Governor Lira, Mayor Gallego, and Mayor Yama. We heard some concrete lessons on the tools of engagement and how to drive climate action on the front line. We also heard in the opening video the idea of a global Mutirão, a collective, community-driven effort where people come together to accomplish a task for the common good. It's going to be very important at COP30. So I'm going to turn to our next panel, where they're going to talk about how they embraced multi-level partnership to come up with the concept of climate federalism and what it looks like on the road to Belém. The next panel will be in Portuguese, so please put your headsets on if you need them. And with that, let me welcome COP30 high-level champion, Dan Yoshpi.
Hello, everyone. Distinguished authorities, mayors, governors, local leaders, and esteemed colleagues, it is my pleasure to join you today. The Local Climate Action Summit recognizes the critical role of subnational governments in climate action. With COP30 in Belém coming up next week, we are reminded that climate negotiations alone will not get us where we need to be. As the high-level champion for COP30, my role is to bridge global ambition with the real, tangible action already underway at local and regional level. Local governments and municipal authorities have long been at the forefront, innovating, leading, and delivering real results. Here in Rio, we are gathered to showcase this progress and reaffirm how local action continues to shape and advance global climate ambition. The COP30 presidency has been clear. We are entering a new era of COPs, one defined by implementation and impact. Through the CHAMP coalition, Brazil is embedding subnational leadership directly into national climate commitments. This means that climate action is no longer confined to one level of government. It's a shared responsibility, woven into everything from transportation planning to waste management. At COP30, our goal is to drive a redefined joint action agenda focused on 6 thematic axes that are anchored on the global stocktake, aimed at accelerating change across systems. The action agenda recognizes the need for multi-level governance in Axis 4, builds on Brazil's commitment to climate federalism and the Coalition for High Ambition Multi-Level Partnerships, which has 77 signatory countries aiming to enhance collaboration between national and subnational governments in climate policy and finance. The goal is not to announce new commitments, but rather to focus on accelerating the existing solutions. As part of this agenda, partner initiatives develop the plans to accelerate solutions to drive implementation. Almost 1/4 of this focus on subnational governments, making local resilience fundamental for driving solutions. This makes you truly indispensable partners in advancing the action agenda. Now, I ask you to carry this amazing momentum forward and join us in Belém. My invitation to all of you is to actively engage with the action agenda, contribute your expertise and solutions, and help us turn ambition into implementation. Let's do this together, not as isolated actors, but as real global Mutirão for implementation. Shared effort, shared purpose, and shared progress. Finally, I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to all of the awardees of the Local Leaders Awards. My deepest thanks go to Mayor Eduardo Paes for hosting us, and to all the organizers, especially Bloomberg Philanthropies, for inviting me to serve as co-chair and to participate in this great event. Now, I have the honor to invite for our next conversation, where we will explore how climate action is unfolding in practice, Minister of Environment of Brazil, Marina Silva, Mayor of Rio de Janeiro, Eduardo Paes, and the Governor of Pará, Mr. Elder Barbalho. Please. Now we change to Portuguese, so for those who need assistance, please do so now. Nós vamos começar com o prefeito Eduardo Paes.
Let's start with
cidades
Eduardo
como
Paes.
o Rio têm sido pioneiras
Cities
na
like
agenda
Rio
de ação
have
climática,
championed
tendo lançado sua primeira
climate
estratégia
action
de resiliência há
agenda,
quase uma década.
having
A cidade
launched
tem
his
liderado
first
soluções e
resilience
parcerias diversas,
strategy
desde a
a
implantação
decade
de
ago.
ônibus elétricos e
The
a
city
integração
has
do
done a
clima
lot,
nos orçamentos, até
adopting
a redução das
electric
emissões provenientes
buses,
de resíduos. Com
including
base na
climate
sua experiência, como as
questions
cidades
in
podem
the
acelerar a
budget,
transição
etc.
do planejamento para a
How can
implementação
cities
e que
accelerate
tipos de
this
colaboração nos
transition
níveis
onto
local e
implementation,
internacional
and what
são mais
kind of
cruciais
collaboration
para
at the
ampliar
local
e acelerar
international
soluções
levels
urbanas?
are
Vamos lá,
crucial
primeiro,
to
uma honra estar aqui
accelerate
com você. Obrigado, Dan,
urban
saudar o nosso
solutions.
governador,
pleasure
campeão
to
da
be
COP,
here.
grande anfitrião desse encontro que nos
Governor
orgulha a todos os
Barbalho,
brasileiros.
champion of
Saudar a
COP,
nossa
and
ministra,
the person of
símbolo da
which
proteção
of
ambiental,
whom we are very
combate às
proud.
mudanças climáticas,
Let's
ministra
greet
Marina Silva, cumprimentar
Marina
todos aqui
Silva,
presentes.
our Minister of the Environment.
Acho que a gente tem que ser muito breve aqui.
Let's
Primeiro,
be
eu
very
acho que a gente
brief.
viveu aqui nesses últimos 3 dias
Over the last
aquilo
3
que
days,
os prefeitos,
we have
governos
been
locais,
living
regionais,
what
têm chamado a atenção
mayors
muito
and
tempo.
local
A
governments in general
capacidade
have
de
been
entrega
stressing.
das cidades, dos
How
governos locais para
much
fazer as
the local
transformações necessárias.
governments are able
E aí eu
to
vou
deliver
puxar pouquinho
towards
aqui, porque eu
the
acho que esse
needed
tema é muito
transformation.
importante. E estamos aqui falando, temos um
There
governador
is
e uma
one
ministra,
important topic
né, mas o
here.
Brasil tem uma particularidade, né, que para muitos é novidade a partir da entrada do Brasil lá no Champ, né, mas que é uma permanente colaboração entre os diferentes níveis de governo.
Which is a
Né,
constant
então,
collaboration
talvez
between
o grande
different
exemplo que
levels
eu
of
possa trazer
government.
aqui é,
The great
no caso do
example
governo
I
do
can
presidente
give
Lula,
you in the
o PAC,
case
nosso
of
programa de
President
aceleração do
Lula
crescimento,
is
né, conjunto
PAC,
de
a program
investimentos
for
que,
accelerating
na verdade, o
growth.
governo abre uma carteira
The
de
government
projetos,
opens
né,
a portfolio of projects,
municípios têm que
and
apresentar
states and
projeto para que
municipalities
possa
have
ser
to
implementado. Então, isso faz com que a
design
gente
their
tenha uma
own project
capacidade
in
de
that
realização
framework,
com
and
financiamento
it
federal,
can
com
be
recursos federais,
funded
que é o grande debate
with
desses dias
federal
aqui, André,
funding.
como é que a gente
This is the
transforma
important debate
poesia em
here.
verba.
How
Né? Precisamos de recursos,
can we transform
global precisa de
poetry
recursos, as
into
cidades têm uma
financing?
capacidade enorme de
Cities
implementar políticas, é o que
can
a gente tem
implement
buscado fazer
policies.
no Rio ao longo desses
And
anos.
this is what
né?
we've
Quando
been
há
trying
recursos
to do in
federais, a gente
Rio
é mais
over the last
efetivo.
years. With
Então,
federal
né, para
funds,
você
we are more
fazer uma
effective
grande obra de drenagem, para você resolver um problema de
implement a
saneamento
large
numa
drainage
comunidade carente, para você fazer obras
work
de contenção de
to
costas.
work
Se tem
in
recurso federal,
poor
se há
communities,
financiamento,
etc.
a gente
If you
realiza
have
muito.
federal
Mas é
funds,
óbvio que há um conjunto de medidas,
you
e a
do
Prefeitura do
more.
Rio tem
But
feito
of
isso,
course,
que é um campo
we have
em que a gente
a
identifica o orçamento
subset
climático,
of measures
estabelece
we have
metas
been
muito claras
implementing here.
em todos
Our
os
clear
sentidos aqui na
goals
Prefeitura.
in terms of
E a
climate,
gente
for
precisa,
instance.
eu acho que o
At
grande
the
desafio
mayor,
dessa COP,
the
quando a gente fala de
municipality
mutirão,
level,
sair
the
para
great challenge for
ação,
COP, where we
sair do
discuss
discurso para
Mutirão,
ação,
going
são
from
iniciativas da
speech
Bloomberg,
to
por exemplo, ontem
action.
anunciou 80 milhões de
Well,
dólares para a troca,
Bloomberg
para que
announced
tenhamos ônibus
yesterday
elétricos.
$80
né?
million
Já estou ali
of
classificando os
funding
projetos da cidade
so
do Rio de
that we
Janeiro
can have
para que a gente
electric
possa
buses
trocar a nossa frota.
to replace
Então,
our
eu tenho
fleet.
certeza que com essa
So
colaboração,
I'm
com as
certain
ações
that
que os
with
líderes
this
locais aqui
collaboration,
representados podem
with
fazer, e essa é a
actions
mensagem mais
that
importante,
local
o
leaders
governador
can
Helder
implement,
vai
well,
nos
and this
liderar
is the main
como
message.
como
The
representante
Governor
regional,
Barbalho
né,
will
dos
be a
governantes
leader
brasileiros
as
nesses
the
dias de
local
COP lá em Belém,
representative
vai nos liderar
of
nisso. A ministra
all
Marina
Brazilian
dispensa
leaders,
apresentações no tema. A
and
gente quer
Minister
que essa
Marina
mensagem chegue
Silva
muito clara para
is
os
very
líderes
well
mundiais,
known.
para que a gente possa ter
So we
efetivamente
will
esses recursos
convene
disponibilizados.
a very important message to all world leaders in this sense.
Muito obrigado, prefeito.
Thank you so much. And now I give the floor to Governor Barbalho. Belém and Pará, as the venue for COP30, are opening the doors to Amazon to show that global leadership can drive global action. How does a rich state, rich in natural resources, can foster carbon markets and use them to foster the sustainable development and prosperity? Good morning to all of you, Minister Marina, Eduardo. Thank you for hosting us here. This is a very special moment in the eve of COP30. And now we can coordinate to welcome the world. We are used to do roadshows all over the world to present our ideas and invite those interested in them to join us. And this is the other way around now. It's the world who will be in Belém, and we will show them our ideas, our projects, things we are already doing, and that need funding to be scaled up. And this is where we need climate financing, meaning to bring ideas and concepts into practice. And it's urgent, as we know. We've been discussing in the Amazon in order to, first of all, understand our specificities. We have urban areas like Rio and São Paulo that with their industrial model and due to urban pressure, emissions are linked to fossil fuels. In the case of Pará and other Amazonian states, the pressure on the forest is the source of the main source of emissions. Pará, in Pará, 85% of greenhouse gases emissions come from the forest, destroying the forest. And so we are working with the federal government to fight deforestation, to reduce pressure
on the forest,
tempo em que, por lado,
and we
fizemos
achieved a
comando,
lot.
controle e
On
fiscalização,
one
por
hand,
outro lado, nós buscamos ter uma carteira de oportunidades que criem valor sobre a floresta viva. Eu tenho dito de maneira muito recorrente, floresta viva precisa valer mais do que floresta morta. E de que forma isso ganhará valor? Por um lado, a nossa biodiversidade. A cada dia, 2 novos itens da biodiversidade são descobertos. Portanto, você tem uma alavancagem de oportunidades advindas da riqueza da floresta absolutamente extraordinária. O que o Estado do Pará fez? Criou um plano estadual
opportunities on a daily basis.
Lá em
Our state established a
2022,
bioeconomy
lançamos em
plan.
Sharm el-Sheikh,
And
e
in
de lá para cá,
2022, we launched
estruturamos
it in
esta
Sharm
política de
el-Sheikh.
bioeconomia
And we've
e,
been
no
structuring this
mês
policy.
passado, inauguramos
And
o
last
Parque de
month,
Bioeconomia da Amazônia
we
e vamos
opened
apresentar
the Amazon
agora na
Bioeconomy
COP,
Park,
lançando o
which
Vale
we will
Bioamazônico de
present at
Tecnologia.
COP.
Dentro do
And we
conceito,
will
Eduardo, do
launch
que aconteceu no Vale do
Bio
Silício, com
Amazon
tecnologia, com
voucher, so as to
inovação,
say.
com o mundo
The
de
same-
chips e computadores,
the
que nós
same
possamos
thing
fazer
that
da nossa
happens
biodiversidade
in the
este
Silicon
grande ativo,
Valley,
projetando que é
we
uma
will do
agenda
the
que
equivalent
estará
thing
cada vez mais
here
ganhando
for
dimensões globais.
biodiversity.
Por outro lado,
And
o
that
mercado
will
de
become
carbono.
global.
No momento
And
em
the
que você
carbon
reduz
market,
desmatamento,
on the other
você
hand,
gera
when
crédito.
we reduce
E é fato,
deforestation, we
com
generate
todos os
credit.
esforços de matrizes
We make all
econômicas,
kinds of
transição
efforts,
energética, a reorganização
economic
urbana,
matrix,
reduzindo
energy transition,
veículos que queimam
urban
combustível
measures,
fóssil, não
reducing the
será o
number of
suficiente
vehicles
para que
that
até
use fossil
2050 nós
fuels. All
tenhamos
this
mundo
will
net
not
zero.
be
E a
enough
partir disto,
to
nós
have a
teremos
net zero
espaço
world
importante que, para
2050.
neutralizar as emissões, o mundo
But
necessitará
we will have
comprar
a
crédito.
space
E
to
este
neutralize
crédito, com
emissions.
integridade,
The
advindo
world
de
will
um
need
grande
to buy
processo de redução de
credits. And
desmatamento
these
da floresta
credits will
amazônica,
come from
tem alto
this
valor
lesser
pela
deforestation.
integridade,
And this,
alto valor
its
pelos
value
esforços
is very high
que o mundo
due
inteiro
to
gravita
its
para
integrity
proteger o
and
maior
due to
bioma
the
de floresta
efforts
tropical do mundo.
done
E o Pará
by
se
the whole world to
posicionou a
protect
partir de
that
um sistema
forest.
jurisdicional
Pará
de REDD+, a partir de uma
has,
lei consistente que
worked
passa por 3
based
anos
on a hedge
de
system
exaustos debates
and
com comunidades
laws or
tradicionais
legislations
ribeirinhas,
based on
quilombolas,
debates
indígenas,
with
com agricultores, para mostrar que este
indigenous peoples
esforço
e other
permite uma nova
inhabitants of the
vocação
forest
em que o
to
pagamento por
validate
serviços
this
ambientais,
effort
a remuneração por
in the
redução
system
da
in
pressão
which
sobre a floresta, buscando
payment for
equalizar
environmental
o ambiente de
services
uso do
and the
solo
reduction
em
of
floresta,
forest,
produção
reductions of
alimentar
pressure on the forest,
e, com isto, geração
trying
de
to
mão de
bring
obra e
together
condição
forest and
social
food
no
production,
ambiente local, nós nos
fostering
posicionamos tendo
work,
hoje a
work,
oportunidade, é muito
jobs,
importante que vocês compreendam
and all this
isso.
together,
Hoje,
it
o
means
Estado
an
do Pará
opportunity. You should
tem a
understand this.
oportunidade de comercializar
Pará
em
State
toneladas de
can
carbono,
market
chegando a mais de 300 milhões de
tons
toneladas de
of
carbono
carbon
até 2026.
up to
Isto permite
2026. It
uma
will be
mobilização financeira, Eduardo, da ordem de
200 tons of
40
carbon,
bilhões de reais.
which means
40
40
bilhões de
billion
reais.
reais.
Portanto, nós estamos falando
For
de uma
these
nova economia,
projects.
de uma
We
nova
are
agenda
talking
que
about a new
faz com que a
economy, a
preservação
new
da floresta e a
agenda,
redução do desmatamento permita
which
que nós
means
possamos
that
ter esse volume de
forest
recursos que
preservation
será distribuído de que
and
forma?
less
Para os
deforestation
salvaguardadores da floresta, para os povos indígenas,
generate
para os povos
these
quilombolas, para os
funds
produtores rurais.
that will be
E a
used
parcela que couber ao
to
governo, que é
improve
uma
the
parcela
lives
minoritária,
of
o
indigenous
governo
people,
obrigado
etc.
a
And
continuar
the small
financiando
percentage
a
of
redução
this
das
will
suas
go
emissões.
to
Portanto,
the
com
government,
isto, nós
which will
reorganizamos
use these
a
funds
economia local,
to finance
permitindo
this
sim que o
transition.
Pará
So
continue com
we
as vocações
reorganized
do antes,
the local economy,
agricultura, pecuária, e estas precisam
in
ter
our,
rastreabilidade
areas,
para que
meaning
nós possamos ter integridade na
agriculture,
cadeia da produção alimentar,
working
para não permitir
with
que
integrity
a produção
in
de
the food
alimentos esteja
production
atrelada
chain,
a processos
not
de
allowing
ilegalidade
food
ambiental,
production to
mineração
be
também com
conducted in a
rastreabilidade
way
para
that is
separar
harmful
o
to
que
the
é mineração
environment,
ilegal, o que é
mining
garimpo ilegal
with
e
no
garantir com que haja
illegal
a
mining,
extração minerária
but
e a
correct
produção
mining
advinda da riqueza da floresta com biodiversidade e com redução de desmatamento, gerando crédito. Com isso, nós conseguiremos a principal missão de quem vive na Amazônia, é conjugar, cuidar da floresta e cuidar das pessoas. Nós precisamos aproveitar da COP em Belém para que todos que falam sobre nós, mas nunca colocaram o pé na floresta, entendam. Nós somos árvore, mas nós somos gente. Nós somos a maior floresta tropical do mundo, mas abaixo da copa das árvores nós temos 29 milhões de brasileiros que vivem na Amazônia brasileira. E na Panamazônia chegamos a 50 milhões. Portanto, sim, nós queremos ser solução para o meio ambiente, mas financiem, apoiem para que estas soluções passem por qualidade de vida, porque não há justiça climática sem justiça social.
Minister
Marina Silva,
o conceito do mutirão global
the concept of global Mutirão is at the core of this COP30, the call to collective action included in the new architecture of our agenda. In Belém, what the role do you expect non-state actors will play in the main outcomes from COP in terms of adaptation, financing, or funding, and energy transition? What does this new architecture will mean to Brazil and other nations? It's a pleasure to be here. I greet all of you, namely Dan Shopchek, Edward Barbalho, Eduardo Paes. It's a great pleasure to be here participating in this crucial moment for the history of the humanity. The Mutirão is a word that comes from an indigenous language, and it means bringing people together to do together good things. André Correia do Lago was inspired when he chose this name, this Mutirão. A Mutirão to implement what we decided throughout the last 30 years. The UNFCCC is born in Rio in '92. It's 33 years old, and this is the number, the 30th COP meeting. The idea of a global Mutirão in Belém, and we will have the head of state summit of heads of state, which will start tomorrow. And we hope they will deliver a message about how we will face climate change. And this is no longer what we thought in the past. It was think global and act local. By that time, science said that if we did not reduce CO2 emissions, we would go through what we are going through now. It was thinking global and acting local. Now I have to do both at the same time. Now, those who are already affected by climate change, cities, communities, and vulnerable people can no longer solve this problem at the local level, mainly because they do not have technological resources or financial or human resources, as we've seen here. We need the support, and we need funds. And this is why COP30 we will discuss adaptation based on metrics, indicators, to determine how much this adaptation is taking place in cities. So Mutirão starts by means for implementation. Commitments taken should be honored so that we won't lose credibility. Another thing about Mutirão, and this involves governors and mayors, is that although we no longer solve problems at the local level, we know that climate change happens exactly somewhere where we live. 80% of people live in cities. 80% of people are affected by climate change in cities, such as water supply, torrential rains, as we've saw in Rio Grande do Sul last year. And so we also need a Mutirão in action. The federal government has to work together with state-level and local-level governments. And in this case, Brazil has 3 programs. The first one is Adapt Cities by the Ministry of Environment, creating methodologies so to teach cities how to adapt and sharing knowledge so to give them this capacity. The second program is Resilience and Green. Resilient Green. We are working so that cities would be trained in terms of infrastructure, housing, and the creation of new procedures, the urban plans. Some of them have to be adapted, and the ways we build our buildings have also to be adapted, and something else that is crucial. We are living in this framework of climate emergency, so we have to change and create new legal frameworks. In Brazil, we have 2,042 municipalities that have been mapped. And they are vulnerable to extreme climate events. They have to remain in emergency state to create possibilities or alert systems, escape routes, etc., to help people. Rescue people. But adaptation and climate change cannot be seen as a burden, as a problem. They can be seen as a space for synergy. If I manage adequately my urban residues, I can transform them into energy, clean energy, and I avoid releasing CO2 inclusive o metano.
And methane.
Eu faço trabalho na cidade de fazer a eletrificação da minha frota. Eu estou evitando a emissão de CO2, estou melhorando a qualidade de vida das pessoas, inclusive do ponto de vista da saúde pública. Veja que o enfrentamento da mudança climática, longe de ser apenas os efeitos indesejáveis, é como a gente potencializa os efeitos desejáveis na direção de um novo ciclo de prosperidade.
Looking forward to a new prosperity cycle. This is a reality in a scale that needs more strength, but with people like the Mayor Eduardo Paes and also the Mayor of Pará State, we can turn this key, we can change this key. We have the technical answers. We have to have an ethical commitment to have an action capacity. We need a financial, public and private financial resources, human resources. And I'd like to wrap up that in 2003, when I was in the Ministry of Environment for the first time, I told President Lula, we cannot tell them what we can't. We have to create what what we can. And we had the plan of prevention and control of Amazon deforestation. This plan reduced deforestation in 83% for a decade. And we avoid launching into the atmosphere 5 billion, and we preserved conservation areas. And this was something, an action, and we reduced the CO2. These policies were dismantled. But when President Lula, in his administration, I'm again, for the third time, the Minister of Environment. I was 45 years old at that time, now I'm 67 years old. But we've reduced the deforestation in Amazon in 50%, and we could avoid to launch in the atmosphere 700 million of tons of CO2. This is good for cities, for the planet balance, but we have to adapt, we have to mitigate, but we have to transform the development model, and then we have the huge opportunity to generate revenue, to improve people's lives, creating synergies, to be prosperous, sustainable, and at the same time, a diversified world with a diversified economy. There's place for everybody. For a long time, we had a development vision, development using nature. But now we have to, all of us, we have to be sustainable. We can be, we have to be sustainable. We cannot deny. We cannot be in denial. Thank you.
Muito obrigado a todos.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Muito obrigado.
Thank
e
you
aqui
all.
encerramos esse painel. Muito obrigado.
And it was a pleasure to have you all. Thank you.
Obrigado, thank you. Thank you to our panelists, Minister Silva, Mayor Paez, and Governor Barbello. It's great to see how climate federalism is spreading. As you know, Mike Bloomberg is not here, but he has a message to share. So let's hear from him before our next panel.
Hello, everyone, and a big thanks for all the important work you're leading. Our team at Bloomberg Philanthropies is committed to supporting you every step of the way. Today, I'm glad to announce that we're making a new investment of $168 million to help speed up progress that local leaders are making in the fight against climate change. That funding will support more collaboration and spread proven solutions. It will also help to strengthen partnerships with national governments so that they can incorporate cities, states, and regions in their climate plans and provide the funding that local governments need to deliver results. We've come a long way together over the last decade. Now we're ready to write the next chapter and to keep raising the bar for what's possible. Thank you for your leadership, and all the best.
You're all here out of commitment to climate action. But why do we work on climate change? Because we are here to improve the lives of our communities. And aligning those priorities is key. So I'm looking forward to moderating the next session. But before that, let me introduce our next speaker. I live in London, and in London, implementing the ultra-low emissions zone was a challenge. But as a result, we all breathe cleaner air. And that would not have happened without Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan. Sadiq, welcome.
Good morning. It's a real honor to be here. Bon dia. Can I just say the first 2 days of the summit have been amazing, but this third day, the Local Climate Action Summit's taken it to a different level. Let's please show appreciation to Mike Bloomberg, Patty Harris, and Bloomberg Philanthropies. Now that light show that began this morning, a number of you are curious, so I've been asked to confirm that the dancer wearing the costume with the lights was indeed Mayor Eduardo Paez. A man of many talents. I want to begin with an apology, and I've said this to colleagues this morning at a previous meeting for looking sleep-deprived and tired. The football team I support is Liverpool, and they played Real Madrid last night. But I'm also a big fan of politics. I've been up all night watching CNN with the election results coming in. I do not apologize for being very happy because Liverpool beat Real Madrid and every candidate President Donald Trump backed lost. Now, to some, the subject of the next session, improving lives with climate action, will seem like a simple one, but it might just be the most important of all. Time and again, we hear from climate deniers and climate delayers that efforts to protect our planet will make our economies weaker and our people poorer. But if we're serious about preventing climate breakdown, we must tackle that idea head on. Here in Rio, that's exactly what we're doing. We know that the climate emergency is a catastrophic risk, but we also know it's a once-in-a-generation opportunity to create new industries and good green jobs for working people, to bring down bills with cleaner energy, and to save lives by protecting people from soaring temperatures and toxic air. I said at the beginning of this week at the World Mayors Summit that we are in the battle of our lives, and I'm of the view that we won't win if we rely solely on persuading people to make sacrifices today to protect future generations tomorrow. Instead, we must show how climate action can change their own lives for the better now. Take air pollution. As you've heard, in London, the evidence I saw showed that toxic air was linked to 4,000 premature deaths every single year in London. By the way, across the globe, that is 7 million premature deaths every year. Children growing up with stunted lungs. Adults falling ill with diseases like asthma, heart disease, and dementia. I knew we had to act, and we did. They told us that it would take 193 years to bring levels of air pollution within legal limits. By introducing the London Ultra Low Emission Zone, the world's first and largest clean air zone, we did it in 9 years. 184 years early, and the impact was immediate and immense. For me, the London Ultra Low Emission Zone is an example and a reminder of what's really at stake here. We're not just fighting for a greener future for our people and the planet we share. We're fighting for a fairer and healthier, more prosperous future for everyone. The leaders we'll be hearing from in a moment are on the front lines of that fight. Each of them is pioneering popular, practical climate policies to improve the lives of people they serve. As we look ahead to Belém, their success sends a powerful message. a message of optimism and of hope. In the last 20 years, we, the world's mayors, have shown national governments what bold, ambitious climate action can achieve. Together, C40 cities have helped create 21 million good green jobs. We've cut air pollution for over 100 million people. Here in Rio, though, we're setting our ambitions even higher because we know that a better future isn't just possible. If we can find the courage to seize the opportunities in front of us, it's ours for the taking. Thank you. Now, it gives me great pleasure to bring back on stage Akshat, but also our panel, three formidable leaders, the co-chair of C40, the mayor of Freetown, Yvonne Aki-Sawyer, the governor of New Mexico, Michelle Lujan Grisham, and the mayor of Hobart, Anna Reynolds.
Thank you. We've heard a lot about local action on climate, but let's try and understand how to connect that to the benefits that people are feeling right now. So maybe we do a quick round of an example of climate action that is showing up in your communities as benefits to people. We'll start with you, Mayor Aki-Sawyer.
Thank you very much, Asha. Definitely the one I would mention is Freetown, the Tree Town. That's our initiative that's set out to plant 1 million trees. And why does that help local people, our communities, to understand how it connects with climate change? On the 14th of August 2017, we had a landslide. 1,000 people died in under 3 minutes. By planting trees, 1 million trees, we're stabilizing slopes. We're protecting water catchment areas. We're reducing flooding. We're creating good green jobs. And we're providing economic benefit for those communities. We're cleaning the air, and we're cooling the city. So 1.2 million trees is our target today. We've moved it now to 5 million, even as we're taking the city, and it will be the first city ever when we succeed. We're taking the city through a carbon market accreditation process. So many co-benefits, including economic sustainability.
Governor?
I'm going to do it a little bit differently, which is given that our economy is growing at more than twice the national average because we're investing in green, clean, renewable jobs, it has created the kind of economic successes in 2 ways. One, we reduced methane by half in our oil and gas patch. That's $125 million extra dollars to the state. But that growth in economy, free universal child care, free universal pre-K, free college, 2-year, 4-year, part-time, full-time, which means we're training the next generation of clean energy workers and advocates, thereby cementing every aspect of moving both the economic benefits and the real public health benefits to doing this right. Thank you.
I wanted to talk a little bit about Hobart's risk because the action we're taking is directly related to the risks of bushfire in our city. And we saw what happened in LA earlier this year, and it's sent chills down our spine because our city is surrounded by beautiful and biodiverse bushland, which the community love, but it's also highly flammable. We're the southernmost capital city in the world, so we get big winds, whipped up by the mighty Southern Ocean. And so we don't actually run emergency services at local government, but we need to be proactive in protecting our city from risk. And so we've run a program that we designed with world-class fire and climate scientists who live in our city, and the initiative is called Sparking Conversations, Igniting Action. And we literally door-knocked on the doors of the thousands of people who live in bushfire-prone areas. We gave them advice. We did audits of the flammability of their garden. And as a result of that, that program, which was an award-winning program, 95% of people who had contact with that program actually made took an action to protect their homes so that they're less vulnerable to the risk of wildfire. And this is really important, not just for Hobart, but increasingly, as many more communities around the world are impacted by wildfire, this kind of program could be scaled up and could see benefits for a range of other communities around the world.
And sticking with you, Lord Mayor, there are networks like C40, Under2, GCOM, which you are part of. How are they taking the local wins and then scaling them up globally?
Well, being part of, we're quite a small city. We're 250,000 people is the city of Hobart, the total Greater Hobart area. And so being part of these networks really accelerates what we can do. So we get to experience more advice from big cities. We get to benchmark whether what we're doing is effective. We get access to fantastic programs like the Youth Climate Action Fund, which politically we would not have been able to run ourselves. So having that philanthropic support and something happening all around the world really gave us the political space to run and really champion that program. And it really has been so celebrated by the young people in our community. So it is incredibly important. And we do need the big cities with the bigger budgets and greater authority to go faster. And further than the smaller cities, but then we often can go first on things. So Hobart was the first jurisdiction anywhere in Australia to ban single-use plastics, so takeaway containers, plastic cups, straws. So sometimes the small cities can innovate and go first, but we do really need the big cities to show us how to really make those big impacts.
And as a governor of a state, what kind of innovation do you think can become a model for international action?
There are a number of them. So the benefit of this conference in particular is to reassert our strategies and goals, to commit to decarbonizing utilities, transportation, agriculture, all of it, and to have that be measurable, but to celebrate the innovation at all levels. So for example, in New Mexico, I talked about we have incredible energy resources. So we're in the top 10 for solar. We have the largest wind farm in North America. We are investing in strategic water because we have a very arid state and we're using fresh water for all of our economic development when we could be using brackish water. So it's teaching states to do a couple of things across the country and then leaning into cities. Easier ways to go behind the grid, so that we don't have to rely on a 30-year process for transmission. Also doing grid modernization, so we're getting more in that load and more green electrons. That innovation, I think, bodes well for the world because we have to move this clean, renewable energy. And then the local stuff, clean fuels, clean cars, community solar, rooftop solar, efficiencies. These are the things and the newest technology that can really make a difference, household to household, village to village, city to city, and that rolls up to incredible progress tackling climate change.
And Mayor, as a mayor of a developing country city, your challenges can be sometimes different. And so what is it that your work can show to other developing country cities?
So I'm going to continue with the example of Freetown, the tree town, because the approach we've taken is one that's now being copied in other places. So in order for us in planting trees, we talk about planting trees all the time, but what really matters is growing the trees, making sure the survival rates are high, and linking that with job creation. So what we've done with Freetown, the tree town, is every single tree is individually tagged, and there's a tree grower, a tree monitor, and a tree tracker. And the young people have an app that they use to track the growth of the tree. They get paid on a monthly basis as the trees are growing. That situates the planting and the growing into community. And that's something that's been modeled. So I know Mayor of Phoenix has used that ownership model in their tree planting. The city of Shwani is working on a MOU with us because we have a digital platform. Each of these trees is uploaded onto the platform. You have the URL code and you can see each tree. And that's a platform that we can share with other cities. So a small city in a developing country, but through the climate action that we've done with innovation, we, as with other cities, are creating that ability for it to multiply. And that's, as we've said, our yearly offer of action is how the cities are getting it done.
Thank you. Those are amazing examples.
I know I'm not supposed to, but New Mexico can steal. Australia uses drones to do more seedlings and seeds, and I'm going to copy this mayor's incredible leadership. Why don't I have an app for tree growth in northern New Mexico where we had one of the largest U.S. wildfires in history? So I'm going to steal those.
Great.
Like that.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Our next speaker is an architect, engineer, inventor, and educator whose work redefines urban spaces. He directs the MIT Sensible City Lab, where data and design come together to create smarter, more sustainable environments. He also happens to have the Italian version of my name. Please welcome Carlo Ratti.
Good morning, bon dia. Good morning, everybody. Well, it's a great pleasure to be here. And I know we've been talking a lot about climate, and a lot of people in this room are concerned with what is going on, not only with science, but with politics in different places. And so I want to come here with a little bit of good news, a bit of optimism. You know, remember Karl Popper, the great philosopher? He said optimism is a duty. And why is it a duty? It is a duty because it deals with the future. And he says the future is not predetermined. It's something we're all going to build together. And well, the tool to do that, especially in cities, is architecture. It's design. Architecture and designers are a way to turn the present into something different, into something better. And so I think we can be optimistic about this. And I want to share with you, as mayors, as city leaders, 3 pieces of advice. The first one is take risks with architecture and design. You know, too many times mayors follow best practices. But if you think about the best practice, what it is looking at something that happened maybe 10 or 20 years ago. It was successful in a city, and then you copy and you replicate it. If you think about that, it's like locking the future into the past. It's the opposite of innovation. So the first thing, all mayors, you know, take risk and innovate. The second thing is a lesson we all have learned during COVID. During COVID, we see that we had to innovate. We had to try things, sometimes small. Take a street and pedestrianize it. Or, you know, change a little bit how traffic works. And then, you know, that's the other thing. Start small and then scale up. And then the third thing is think about your city like in a similar way to what happens in innovation ecosystems. Think about Silicon Valley, think about many others around the world, but basically it's about how you can listen to people, try, and create feedback loops. The big difference here, feedback loops are with your citizens. They are the ones to decide what type of city they want and should be tomorrow. Now, those were my 3 small pieces of advice in 3 minutes. I want to tell you 2 small things. We are using a lot of this at the Venice Biennale this year. I'm the director. The Venice Biennale is open until the end of the month. So if you haven't come, you know, come and visit us in Venice. There's over 65 countries. There's hundreds and hundreds of ideas about adaptation in architecture. And the second thing, if you're coming to Belém, also there, we try to continue the conversation. And continue the conversation with a floating place called Aquapraza, supported by Bloomberg Philanthropies. There will be, again, another way to take innovation, bring it to the stage at the city scale in Belém, and together find new solutions. So let's all be optimistic, and let's continue the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlo. Now, we've packed a lot in the last 90 minutes or so, and I've been very happy to listen to all the speakers, but also it's been a privilege to be your MC. We're going into the last session of the day, and we are going right back to Paris. As you all know, Mike Bloomberg brought together local leaders just before the Paris Agreement was signed, and he did so again 2 years ago in Dubai. So I'd like to welcome to the stage Mayor Anne Hidalgo, who was there at the start a decade ago, elected in 2014. She was present when the Paris Agreement was signed. Mayor, please welcome.
Your Excellencies, dear fellow mayors and dear friends, dear Patty, I'm happy to be with you today to open this panel, and I would like first to thank our host and very, very great friend, Michael Bloomberg, for the invitation, for his tireless dedication to raising the voices of cities and communities against climate change. Thank you so much, dear Michael Bloomberg. We can applaud. Remember, Paris in 2015, for the first time, 195 countries agreed on a common framework to tackling global warming. We had clear goals, and the historic agreement was the result of international cooperation. It was based on collective ambition and shared responsibility, and also faith in a common future. In 2015, at the Paris City Hall, we were 1,000 mayors together. This summit was a symbol of determination of local authorities around the world in response to the climate emergency. Mayors were and still are the ones who act every day to fight climate crisis and to adapt their cities for the citizens. On that day, cities showed that they were ready to engage in the decisive battle against climate change, and also because it's very connected for a fair transition. 10 years after COP21, from Paris to Belém, cities have proved that the fight against climate change is first played out at the local level. Cities around the world, in the global north as well as in the global south, have showed incredible results. And the C40 summit the last 2 days have given thousands of evidences of what we made during the last decade. We improved the quality of life of our residents. We reduced our carbon footprints. We reduced air pollution within our cities. We build also solidarity with the most vulnerable of us in our cities. Cities around the world are acting and innovating. And over the past 10 years, networks of cities and local governments advocated and acted. They have enabled climate action to be structured, spread, and scaled up globally. It is now time for coalition between the North and the Global South, between states, cities, and international organizations, CHAMP initiative is the framework we needed to work hand in hand with states and with the support of UN and UN Habitats. In Belém, we will have the opportunity to have 2 days of discussions on cities and local governments with member state representatives. We must take the opportunity to build a common and inclusive model. Now, I invite the participants in the round table to this discussion and to join me, please, Governor of Wisconsin, dear Tony Evers, Mayor of Belém, dear Igor Normando, and the director and my very good friends of the European Climate Foundation, dear Laurence Toubiana. Please join me.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Mayor Hidalgo, for that wonderful framing and opening. I'm really excited to have our 3 panelists today to reflect on that evolution and what's next for the future of the Paris Agreement. And each of our speakers has really, in their own way, helped shape it. So first, I'd like to turn to you, Laurence Toubiana, as a key architect of the Paris Agreement. What, in this moment in time, is most important to preserve of the Paris Agreement, and what must adjust in Belém to reflect today's climate realities?
Thank you, Anta. I'm very, very happy to be here. And let me remind one big memory, a very beautiful one, 1,000 mayors in Paris to ramp up ambition, energy, and it was an incredible moment to see all these people backing us into the last weeks and last days of the COP. And again, wanted to breathe in our joy today with I'm very relieved to have a good European commitment and the good news from US. So I think it's a very good day. You know, not all days are easy. We should celebrate. So, and that's the lesson. If we stand up, we can win this very difficult battle ahead of us. And Paris Agreement, just my last book, the name is The Climate is a Combat Sport. It is. It's a contact sport. It's never easy. There is a lot of course, adversaries, incumbents, industry, since in particular the invasion of Ukraine, they have gained force. So now we see on one side the Paris Agreement stays strong. You look at the numbers, you know them, energy, renewable energy, cost of batteries, etc. You look at, finally, the trend of emission even. We don't know what we will get out of this COP, but we have seen that in the previous decade before Paris, the emissions were growing by 18%. From Paris to now, they have gone only on 1.8%. So we have curbed the trend, so we can do it. And that, of course, many countries, many cities, many of what you're doing, you see this happening. So it's strong, it's a signal. Of course, we have now backtracking and political pressure again. It's my first time in life. I am just an old-timer in climate, almost 30 years. That's the first time I see such aggressivity, such violence against all the people that want to do good. So I do think it's really a moment to gather together because we need these strengths, this connection. We need to support each other because the old sectors want to kill the clean transition and the just transition. So what I am very happy is that Paris, we offer the space for local authorities. But it was a place, and it is in the pillars of Paris Agreement, of course. In Dubai, we went much further, and it's really having CHAMP launch. I'm so really happy to have seen that and see that now it's the right moment because we are in Brazil. We search, and you have listened to all of them. No fantastic political leaders at local level. What a force that can bring now the moment to have the local leaders at the table. So that's now, I think, a combat that I have every year. This year, I think we can have an outcome. This year, I think you can have the local authorities at the table in a new setting with a clear mandate that they are not only contributing to their national NDCs, but they are contributing to the long-term vision, but they are at the table for finance, for implementation, for advice, just to lead us to where, because you are the one now in these difficult times, and it is evident in the US, but in many other countries, you are leading by example, and you are leading by your ambition. So I must say, today, for me, it's a very happy day. And thank you to be there.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Laurence. That's a nice segue to you, Governor Evers of Wisconsin. Having you here and representing your state is very significant. On your birthday, I might add. Everyone wish the governor happy birthday.
Happy days.
What a celebration.
We don't celebrate them much anymore.
I think you should celebrate with us. We'll celebrate you. Okay. You have said that climate action in Wisconsin is not about ideology, but rather about affordability, health, reliability. So can you say a few words about how you make the Paris Agreement real in Wisconsin?
Yeah, and it's been great. I love it. And thank you for your good work, too. As governor, I've set a goal for electricity consumed in the state to be 100% carbon-free by 2050, and we're on our way towards achieving that goal. Since taking office in 2019, we've reduced greenhouse gas emissions by expanding clean energy resources. In doing so, we created thousands of new jobs, lowered energy costs for families across Wisconsin, and invested in job training in innovative industries and technologies. We've also made great progress in our pledge to plant 100 million trees, that's exactly right, 100 million trees, and conserve existing forest land in Wisconsin by the end of 2030. Since 2021, we've planted over 42 million trees across the state and conserved more than 76,000 acres of forest. My administration has advanced clean energy through various actions, including the creation of an Office of Sustainability and Clean Energy and an Office for Environmental Justice. Together, these offices coordinate our state's work on clean energy and to ensure that all people in our state live in clean and healthy environments. We've also created a green bank, which we hope will finance clean energy deployment, clean energy technologies, and infrastructure to make our state more resilient. The exciting launch of a home energy rebate program that helps residents in Wisconsin reduce energy use and lower energy bills has been a great opportunity. Since launching the programs, over $2 million in rebates have been paid to Wisconsin households. Rebates assist families installing popular energy-efficient measures, including air sealing, insulation, heat pumps for cooling and heating, and electric panels and wiring. So these are just a few of the ways we're building on our progress over the last 6 years to build a clean energy economy, and we're not taking our foot off the gas anytime soon. That's probably a bad way to put it.
The electric accelerator.
Yes, the electric accelerator.
That's good.
Despite the chaos coming out of Washington these days, our states will not be deterred from continuing this important work. We will keep advocating solutions to the climate crisis that safeguard Americans' fundamental right to clean air and water, create good-paying jobs, grow the clean energy economy, and make our future healthier and safer. Thank you.
That's wonderful. I'm hearing the significance of the inclusion of these voices in the process, the delivery of lower energy bills, clean air and water, protecting special places for the people in your state. I'm going to turn to you for our final remarks. Mayor Normando, the mayor of Belém and host of this year's COP. The mayor will speak in Portuguese, so please get your devices ready if you need those. And I want to ask you, Mayor Normando, as the host of COP, Belém embodies a new kind of COP, one that's collective and inclusive. And I wonder if you could say a few words about how the idea of this Mutirão will come to life in Belém.
Bom, primeiro, agradecer
First, I'd like to thank everybody that came before me. As the Amazon region, and it's extraordinary to be here, because maybe it's the first time that a city in the Amazon region will be the host of discussions that refer to itself, because the Amazon region helped the world to breathe. But now we have an appeal. It has to help us to live. Because it's so important in the moment that we are discussing our survival, the future of generations. We can include in this discussion those who helped so many people. The Amazon region is not only a forest or not rivers. In the Amazon region, we have people, we have workers, we have indigenous people, and many times these people, they were completely lost and they were invisible to the international community. So it's very gratifying to be part of this discussion. Not only as the mayor of Belém, who will be the host of COP30, but to be a resistance voice. Life happens in our city, and sometimes cities are forgotten. Belém is mobilized for COP30, and they are opening the space in a democratic way for those who want to contribute to this discussion. But apart from the discussion, they have to understand that it's our duty. That we did many things, but we still need fastest measures, pragmatic measures. And we need to put this in action. And I'm representing mayors from the whole world. Many times, cities are the last to be seen. First, we talk to the mayors, to the governors, and after we speak to the cities. But life happens in the cities. If we want to preserve lives, if we want better quality of life to our citizens, we have to dialogue for those who live in the cities to preserve the environment. We have to practice in a transversal way. When we speak about urban planning, we are speaking about preservation. When we speak of health, we speak of preservation. If we have a sustainable development, we speak about conservation. And Belém will be the capital of the world during COP30. So Belém will be a big case for the whole world. It's a city who has to face challenges as any other urban center, but it overcomes this with resilience and with assertive proposals. We have to speak about union, preservation, and big changes, and we have to be together. This is an important moment, and I have to appeal to you, appeal to the international community. We speak about the Amazon region, but we don't discuss the Amazon people, and this COP30 will be the moment to discuss the Amazon people, forest people, those who have to be seen with more sensibility and commitment from those who discuss this theme. And I have to really tell you in a pragmatic way, we need to have more access to funding, to philanthropic funding, to be able to fund projects that guarantee more access to communities of basic sanitation, health, generation of jobs and revenues to guarantee that these people can survive. So thank you so much, and I want to invite you all, come to Belém to know the capital of the Amazon region.
Thank
come
you so
to
much,
Belém.
Mayor.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you in Belém. And I think what we've heard here is Paris provides the really important framework, and Belém points the path forward through the inclusion of local leaders. So a round of applause for our wonderful panelists. And I'd like to invite Mayor Hidalgo back to the stage for our final declaration. Thank you. I think we wait here.
I'm very, very happy today that we are going to Belém with the letter from local leaders. The best of the local leaders has endorsed this letter. I will express our willingness, our commitment, our proposal, and our hope too. And please, may the COP in Belém be a success, thanks to the leadership also of the President Lula. May it translate ambition into concrete action. May it mobilize real funding and build coalitions. Ladies and gentlemen, dear fellow mayors, it is time to take a new step forward. We invite all the leaders present to give concrete expression to this new collective commitment. 10 years after Paris, the world is looking to Belém, full of hope. Today, we have the opportunity to write a new page. Thank you so much.